This week in 1952, Jet magazine featured this jive turkey in its Words of the Week section. It is not about a celebrity or politician or anyone of significant historical importance. Just a plain old everyday civilian like you and me who got himself involved in some hot mess. Well, maybe he wasn't exactly like you and me. I'll read the story and add my commentary, and you can decide if he was like you. Let's get into it. But first, if you like these videos about the most scandalous people from yesteryear who make the hot mess history with Ty Said What Ty Said channel a time capsule for the culture, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know every time that I upload one of these videos or every time that I live stream, and comment "I subscribed" in the comment section so that I can say hello to you. Now, on to why you are here. Today's story comes from this issue of Jet magazine, dated May 22nd, 1952. There's no real story here. This comes from Jet's Words of the Week feature, which was literally just a handful of quotes from a handful of people. I have no idea how the Jet editors chose which quotes or which people to feature. Some of the people were famous, some of them were not. The quotes themselves were a mixed bag. Some of them were intelligent, some of them were funny, some were profound, and some of them were stupid, like the one we'll focus on today. Here is everything that Jet had to say about the person and the quote for today's video. It reads, quote, Daddy Grace, religious cult leader, discussing his being the first Negro to buy property on exclusive Riverside Drive in New York. Quote, you Negroes couldn't get there unless you served babies and dogs before I bought. End quote. End quote. Well, you heard him, Daddy Grace. Now, what the fuck did he mean? Clearly, this statement is a flex of some sort because he can buy some property that you regular Negroes can't. I get that. It doesn't seem like the type of preacher talk that I'm used to, but hey, he's Daddy Grace, not Daddy Gracious. And he'll flex on you broke hoes in a New York minute, so deal with it. Now, let's dissect this quote. I can tell that it's a flex, or that he's bragging for some of you L7s out there, because of the way that he started the sentence. You Negroes couldn't get there unless. But the second part leaves me baffled. Unless you served babies and dogs before I bought. Seriously, if you know what that means, or you have a guess, please write your thoughts in the comment section. A couple of things come to my mind, but they don't make sense. Like, is he saying that if the other Negroes would have been waiters to dogs and babies, serving them, then they could have bought that property? Or if they served dogs and babies to people, then they could have bought that property that he bought? Yuck. I don't know what he means, and I don't really want to think about it. Let's get into a few other things about sweet Daddy Grace that I found in some news articles about him. This Daddy Grace guy, he was quite a little troublemaker for Jesus in his day. The most interesting fact that I saw about Daddy Grace is that he thought that he was white. He identified, if you will, as a white man of Spanish origin. Daddy Grace? More like Daddy can't see his face. This description of him in the Montreal Star in 1959 makes him sound interesting to look at. It reads, quote, the self-styled millionaire bishop, better known as Daddy Grace, boasts a shoulder-length straggle of gray-flecked hair, balding pate, mustache, stout figure, and 4-inch fingernails enhanced by all the colors of the rainbow, plus a few of his own invention. Daddy Grace claims he is white, of Spanish origin. He says he's the one true messenger, that God scorned America until his own arrival a couple of decades ago. End quote. Okay. This same article went on to describe one of Daddy Grace's church services. Peter Truman is the writer of this article. An acquaintance of his attended a Daddy Grace service, and this was part of what he disclosed to the newspaper. Quote, "It was absolutely fantastic," he says. "The hall was filled with uniformed attendants and women robed in white. Angels, they're called. A wind machine fluttered the robes and sashes." End quote. Yes, a wind machine. Move over Mariah Carey, move over Beyonce. It's been done before. And a side note about those angels in the white robes, you didn't hear this from me, because I don't like to talk about people's business. But a few sources said that Daddy Grace was getting it on with him. Now, my second favorite fact about Reverend Daddy Grace, after his being a white man, is a close second. Ty's favorite fact number 2 was that Daddy Grace really loved to baptize people, and he would stop at nothing to get the job done. This 1956 article from the Charlotte News gets right to the point about Daddy Grace's baptism style. It reads, quote, "Daddy Grace once stood in the middle of a Philadelphia street and baptized 500 converts with a fire hose." End quote. Yes, that was his thing. I didn't have to dig too deeply to find multiple articles that reported on his fire hose baptisms. On at least a couple of occasions, the fire hose wasn't necessarily the plan, but when he would visit a location that didn't have a baptismal pool, he'd march those fools right outside to the nearest street corner and get to blasting. Oh, Daddy Grace, you are one nutty white guy. There you have it. Daddy Grace, the story of a trans man. Transracial, that is. Do you know who else is trans? The dancer who was the co-star in Janet Jackson's What Have You Done For Me Lately video. I published an amazing video about that story that you can see here. I will also leave a link to it in the description box. My sources for this video are Jet Magazine Archives, 1952. The Charlotte News Archives, 1956. And the Montreal Star Archives, 1959. If you want text notifications so that you can get a text 15 minutes before I release a video or 15 minutes before I live stream, simply send a text to 786-632-2135 to let me know that you want text, and you will get an outgoing text message 15 minutes before I have a new video release. If you have a business, product, service, YouTube channel, or social media account that you would like to promote on my channel, email me at tiwan@tysaidwhattysaid.com to get rates for advertising on my community tab, my live streams, and or my edited videos, just like this one. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ty Said What Ty Said channel. Please leave a thumbs up and comment so that we can get a discussion going. And share this video on all of your social media, especially your Facebook. That really helps me out a lot. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know when my next video is ready for you. And if you don't like what I'm saying but you love it, feel free to hit that applaud button just below your video screen there and send me some
donations.
Yeah, baby. See you on the next video.